like plants, they are connected to their roots, right? What do the roots do to the plants? Do they need the roots? Unmute and tell me how are roots important to plants?
Help put the plant together and help the plant stay in place.
Exactly. So roots nourish the plant, right? They give it food, they give it water, right? They also keep the plant standing brave and tall in winds and heavy storms, right? Just like that, our roots are also very important. They will guide us. Our roots, our dharma, it guides us in our lives, in our everyday lives. It makes us better people. Okay, so our classes have done, what they have done is try to introduce some dharma principles to you all. I hope you have liked them. I hope you will follow them. And so let's start our lesson today. As we do with every lesson, we always start with the Ganpati Shlok. I think most of you have already picked this up now. Yes, show me a thumbs up if you know this Shlok now. That's very nice. Okay, so we are going to say it. I will just say one line and you will repeat after me. Okay, you can unmute yourself and let's fold our hands together. We are going to do Ganpati Vandana. Ready? Vakratunda Mahakaya, Surya Koti Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Very nice, beautifully said, everybody. Okay, we have taught you a lot of other shloks too. Let's do a quick recap. Okay, this is a shlok dedicated to Lord Shiva. Okay, hold our hands, keep the hands folded, and let's repeat after me. Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram, Samsara Saram, Bhujagendraharam, Sada Vasantam, Hridaya Ravinde, Bhavan Bhavani, Sahitam Namami. Very nice. Remember, you have to say all these shlokas every day to keep them in your memory. Okay, we have to memorize them and say them every day. Okay, one more for Lord Vishnu. Hold your hands again. Shantakaram, Bhujagashayanam, Padmanabham Suresham, Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrusham, Meghavarnam Shubhangam, Lakshmikantam, Kamalanayanam, Yogi Birdhyanagamyam, Vande Vishnu, Bhavabhayaharam, Sarvalokaikanatham. Very nice, very nicely said. Okay, the last one we have also said. Let's review that one more time. Sarva Mangala Mangalye, Shive Sarvartha Sadhike, Sharanye Triambake Gauri, Narayani Namostute. Okay, very nice. Very nicely said. Okay, so what are we going to do today? We are going to have a fun class. Can anybody guess what we are going to do?
We're gonna do Kahoot.
Wow, that was smart.
Kahoot.
Yes, we are going to do Kahoot. We are going to review. Okay, it's not just a game. We are going to review what we have talked about in these past 4 classes. Okay, so is everybody ready? Yes, everybody's ready? I cannot see anybody. All the videos are off. Let's see who all are on here. Ekanch, okay, I see them. Odisha, everybody has thumbs up. Okay, so I'm going to
My
try.
one request, Rashmiji, sorry for interrupting. One
Yeah.
request to all the children for today's class. Why don't you keep your videos on? And also, why don't you call your parents to join you? Because this concluding class, we have a special event where we will give certificates, and also we have Rajiv ji joining us, who will talk to the parents about challenges of bringing up Hindu children in America, and what are some of the things that we can do and we are doing. So please request your parents to join you for today, and keep your videos on. It will be very nice to see each other. Today's is the last class for the program. Thank you. Sorry, Rashmiji.
No, it's okay. I'm trying to figure out. So I should share the other screen too, right, Sarveshji?
No, we can see. Don't worry about your screen. We are all fine. It's just it's up to you whether you want to keep in speaker view or gallery view. But rest of us, we can switch our own view and see whatever we want to do.
No, for the Kahoot, I mean.
Oh, for Kahoot, yes, you have to share yours. Just switch your screen. You still have to share your screen, but share the entire screen, not just the presentation.
I see.
So what you can do stop share,
Okay, hold on. Yeah. I think I have to do
and
that
there
because
when you again share, then share the entire screen, not just the one
I got
application.
it. I got it. Let me try that. Share. Uh, hmm. It's not giving me an option. It's saying share a window.
Yeah, so share. So the
Oh,
first
screen. Share the screen.
share
Okay.
screen, yeah,
Screen
not
share.
the
Okay,
window.
I got it. Okay. Okay. So now let me go to Kahoot. Okay, you all can see the Kahoot screen now, right?
Yes.
So here is my game. Everybody, you have to take down a pin, okay? You have to take down a pin once I start. Oh boy, okay, let's see. So I just hit play. Play,
Teach.
teach. Okay, teach.
And make that full screen, that window.
Okay. Nickname
Classic.
generator, classic. Okay.
Yeah, and then there
Start.
you see on the corner you see an arrow type of a thing, top right corner. But that's okay. Right now you're okay. Don't worry. It's fine. So all the children, please open a browser, go to www.kahoot.it, and then enter that pin, game pin, which you
Everybody
can
sees the
see on
pin?
the screen.
Kahoot.it. Okay, that's the website.
So Shining Panther has joined. I don't know who is Shining Panther.
Yes, Shining Panther. Clever seal. Octopus.
Clever Seal, Agent Octopus.
We are waiting for a few more folks to join. Decisive Turtle. Okay, that's cool names. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How about the others? Okay, there you go. One more. We have 23 participants, so that's about at least 18 people. Red Panda.
My name is Silly Leopard.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where are the others? Who else hasn't joined? Is somebody still joining? I think someone's still joining, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people?
So if somebody who has not been able to join, I know just about half the kids have joined.
Yeah.
Is something wrong? Can you just unmute yourself and let us know what's the challenge? Raksha, you are speaking on mute, and Udisha, you also are speaking on mute. So unmute yourself and
Have you joined, Odisha? You've joined?
Yeah, I'm Agent Octopus. I was just
Oh, you're the Agent Octopus. Okay, all right. How about the others? Is anybody having a difficulty?
yeah, let's start. Oh, you are. What is the difficulty, Kaveri?
to start the game because you're in. So will a new page come?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start the game once we have. Okay, somebody else joined just now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30. Should we start, Sareshji? What do you say?
Yeah, Rashmiji, let's
Because I
start.
don't know
In
if
the chat,
anybody's.
yeah, in the chat, I will give more details to them. Anybody has
Okay.
difficulty, just send a message to me privately.
Okay, all right. So this is all a recap. Remember, people, look at all the questions before you answer. Okay, ready? All right, so let's start. Heritage section first. Let's go. Some ancient names of India are.
దాంట్లోకి ఇక్కడికి వెళ్ళి క్వశ్చన్ చూసి అక్కడ ఆన్సర్ చేయాలి అర్థమైందా ఇప్పుడు ఇంకోటి అంతే అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి అంటే ఆన్సర్ తెలియదా
Oh, 7 of you got it right. Yes, they're all ancient names of India. Sindhustan, Jambudweep, Bharatvarsha. Yes, okay, good. Who got it right? 7 of you got it right. 2 of you actually got it wrong. Many of you got it wrong still. Okay, next one. Let's move on. Agent Octopus is leading. Okay. Next question. True or false? Out of 19,500 languages, only 22 are officially recognized. True or false? Official languages in India. We did that in the first lesson. Yes, most of you got it right. That is true. There are 19,500 languages in India, out of which only 22 are recognized. Okay? 22 are recognized. Very good. Good. That was a good performance, guys. Okay. Who's leading now? Ooh, Decisive Turtle has come up. Okay. Let's move on. True or false? Flag of India, tricolor Tiranga, has 24 spokes. On the chakra, the chakra has 24 spokes. Is that true or false?
Yes. True.
Very good. 11 of you got that one right. That was easy, wasn't it? Yes?
That's
Why is it called
easy.
Tiranga? Why is it called Tiranga? What does Tiranga mean?
3 colors?
Yes,
Three
three
colors.
colors. What are the 3 colors of the flag?
Saffron,
Saffron, white, and
green
green.
and white.
Fantastic. And what color is the Ashoka Chakra?
Blue.
Yes. Yes, good. Very good. Blue with 24 spokes. Okay, beautiful. Moving on to the next one. Let's see who's first now. Decisive Turtle is keeping his lead. Very good. Let's go. Next question. Himalayas are the tallest mountain ranges in the world. What does Himalaya mean in Sanskrit? What does it mean? Himalaya. Himalaya. 2 words joined together. Good. Abode of snow is correct. Abode. Ale is abode. Him is snowy. Him ale. Abode of snow. I'm happy no one said ice cream. Okay, very good. Next question. Let's see. Red panda. Wow, who's come up from behind? Okay, let's move on. True or false? Ancient India was known as the golden bird. Sone ki chidiya in Hindi. The golden bird. Yes, it was. It was called as the golden bird. Does anyone know why? Why call it a golden bird?
Very wealthy.
Yes, India was known for her riches, right? Not just gold, but also spices, textiles, and many other things, innovations. Yes, very good. Good job. Okay, let's move on. Who's up now? Red Panda is still leading. Wow. Next question. Christopher Columbus set out to find a land known for its golden spices. Which land was he looking for? Very good. Yes, he was looking for India. He didn't find India though, right? He was looking for India. Yes, everybody was trying to get to India back then. India was very well known. Let's see who's up now. Tropical bear has taken over. Wow. Let's move on. True or false? Question number 7. Hindu calendar is called Panchang. True or false? Yes, Hindu calendar is called Panchang. Okay, now more questions on Panchang coming up. Let's see who's up now. Tropical bear maintains his lead. Okay, let's go. The word Panchang means 5 parts or 5 limbs. True or false? Panchang. Sanskrit word. 2 words together. Panchang. Ang. True, yes. Panchang has 5 limbs. Remember, Panchang is 5 limbs. Okay, good. Excellent job. Tropical bear. Wow, well done. Okay, Panchang uses positions of which heavenly bodies? Which heavenly bodies does it look at? I think most of you would know this. Yes, you do. It uses the positions of all, the sun, the moon, the stars. We look at everything because they all affect us on Earth. Okay, very good. Excellent. Move on. Agent Octopus! Wow, you're coming up now. What happened to Tropical Bear? Come on, Tropical Bear. Var in Panchang means... What does war mean? War. Two seconds. Some of you got that one wrong. War means a day. Remember, we have done the week of the days of the week. War means day. Okay, moving on.
Rashmiji, I think we should move to the next topic because we are almost 25 minutes into the class.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to end with this one. Very good, Parivar. Okay, so I'm just, should I skip everything now, Sarveshji? Or should I say end quiz? End. Okay, let's end it here because we are running out of time. Agent Octopus is number 3. Tropical Bear number 2. Who's the winner? Red Panda. Very good. Well done, everybody. Very well done. Okay, I'm going to stop.
It kicked me out.
What?
It kicked me out, so I couldn't play the...
Because I ended the game, I think that's why. Hold on, let me see if I can Leave the side. There you go. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you all did a fantastic job, everybody, recapping what we have learned so far. I'm going to now hand it over to to Vasuji. Sorry, Vasuji, you're on.
Okay. Namaste, everybody. So, we've been learning a lot over the past 4 weeks about what Hinduism is, what Sanatana Dharma is, and what are the foundations of Sanatana Dharma. What are we looking at in terms of everyday life application of Sanatana Dharma? Be it understanding Dharma, what are the 4 phases in each person's life, and what are the 4 pillars of that Sanatana Dharma, and how we go about achieving what is the final destination in Sanatana Dharma, that is moksha. And how do we know about all of this? We learned about the 4 books. What are they? 4 scriptures? Vedas. Our Vedas are the books that are given to us by the gods and who are rishis who with their immense penance were able to give it to us in a format that we could understand and read. While that is a treasure trove of a lot of wisdom and knowledge, every day in our everyday lives, what do we have? We have the Bhagavad Gita, the song of God. And it is a part of our 2 great epics or itihasas, the Ramayana and Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, it talks about a great war of Mahabharata, Kurukshetra Yuddha. So in the Kurukshetra Yuddha, Sri Krishna, who came down to earth as a human, he took the avatara and he came down to earth and instructed Arjuna on what his dharma is, what his duties are, and how he can achieve his goals. That is moksha through karma, right? We all saw that last week, what Bhagavad Gita says about karma and how we should lead our life. But you know what trumps all of this dharma and karma? There is one thing we can all do, and that is bhakti. Can I have everybody unmute and repeat? Bhakti. What does bhakti mean? Bhakti means total surrender. It's not just devotion. Devotion doesn't even capture the whole emotion behind it. It is complete surrender to Bhagavan. Who is Bhagavan? Sriman Narayana. So, what is this bhakti? Let us understand through what Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself told about bhakti. What total surrender means. What can we offer to Bhagavan who has given us everything, right? Ever thought about it? Whatever we are offering to God is whatever He has given us, correct? Agreed? Yes. So let's see what he said to Arjuna through the Bhagavad Gita. Can I have everybody unmute, fold your hands and start saying with me? Everybody please. Patram Phalam Toyam Me Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhaktyupahrtashnami. Let's say that word again. Bhaktya Upahritam Ashnami Prayatatmanaha. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. Means whoever. Patram is a leaf. Pushpam, a flower. Phalam, a fruit. Toyam, water. Even simple, humble water. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Whoever offers to me with complete devotion, bhakti. Tadaham, that I, bhaktya upahritam ashnami, means I will accept their total devotion in that form, whatever it is offered. Ashnami means I accept. Prayatatmanaha, whoever offers their bhakti, devotion to me. So what does it mean really? Now that we understood word by word meaning, what does it mean? It means that the Lord accepts whatever. It could be as simple as fruit, a flower, a leaf, even water. If none of that is available, a shlokam, a small simple prayer, but with utmost devotion and bhakti, and the Lord will accept it as such. He bows before the devotion of the devotee, and he does not seek anything else from anyone, because he is God, he is Narayana, he is Ananda himself. So this is something that we see throughout our history. And shall we look at some instances of how bhakti trumped over everything else? How Bhagavan recognized that and accepted the bhakti of his devotees. Let's see. Do you know the story of Draupadi? Let's see what Draupadi did, okay? You remember the story of Mahabharata, right? When Pandavas went to live in the forest, right? They lost the game of dice and they went to live in the forest. And Draupadi had a awesome bowl called Akshaya Patra, in which she could just pray and offer to and serve as many people as she prayed to. And that bowl would stop offering food the moment he had taken the last morsel and washed the plate. One day it so happened that Durvasa Muni, who is a very, very powerful Muni, but he was also very easily displeased. So it was very difficult to please him. He, along with a lot of his disciples, decided to show up at Pandavas and visit them. And what did Yudhishthira do? He knew it was late in the day. It was really late in the day. And what do we do when we guests come to our home? We offer them food and all kinds of offerings. We treat them very well. We offer them our hospitality. And that's what Yudhishthira wanted to do. But he realized that everybody had eaten. So instead, he tried to buy some time. And he said, Maharshi, Durvasa Maharshi, you've come from afar to visit us. Why don't you take your bath in the river, and by the time you arrive, we will arrange for everything else you need. Draupadi had to serve all the food to all of these disciples and the rishi, right? And so she had already eaten her meal and washed the dish. What does she do? She doesn't know what to do. So she had already washed the patra, Akshay Patra, but she humbly offers her prayers to Krishna. What does she do? She offers one tulasi patram. What is that? One tulasi leaf, and places it in the Akshaya Patra and prays to Sri Krishna. Just then, Krishna, who is in Dwarka, shows up in the forest hermitage and says, "Oh, Krishna, what do I do?" And then he says, bring me the bowl. Let me see what's in it." And you know what Krishna does? He looks into the bowl and he sees one tiny grain left over along with the leaf. He just takes the leaf along with the tiny grain of rice, accepts it and says, "Ha," and rubs his stomach. "I am so full, I cannot eat anymore." You know what happens on the other side? You remember Durvasa and his disciples, they all had gone to the river to take a bath. They also have their stomachs so full that they can't even get up from the river banks. They just sit down. And when Yudhishthira sends his brothers to bring all of his guests home, what does he find? He finds that all the disciples along with Maharshi say that they are so full that they can't even get up and they have to be onward on their journey and they can't come back. Think about it. What did Draupadi do? She offered only a simple, humble tulasi leaf And Sri Krishna accepted the devotion. Did he eat the leaf? Was he looking for the leaf? No, what did he look for? He was looking for the bhakti. Let's look at one more story, shall we? Next slide, please. Yeah, Ranti Deva. You know what Ranti Deva offered to Bhagavan in bhakti? Just water. Shall we see what the story is? Okay. Ranti Deva lived a long time ago. He was a very pious and a very, very generous king. In his kingdom, everyone lived very happily. But soon, at some point in time, there was a severe drought and people didn't have food or water. It was very, very difficult to get even a little bit of food. So one day, he had given up all of his riches and clothes and everything else he could to all his people. Even food had become difficult to obtain, and even water. After almost 8, 9, 10 days of staying hungry, he finally manages to get a small bowl of rice and porridge and some water. He manages to find it, and he thinks he is going to offer the same to God and to his family. Just when he's about to start his meal, a Brahmin shows up and he says, Bhiksham Dehi, please give me something to eat. And without hesitation, he offers the bowl of rice to the Brahmin. Then he leaves happy and blesses the king. Then, just when he was about to sit back for his meal, with his family, someone else seeking alms shows up at his door and saying, Bhiksham Dehi, give me something to eat. And he asks his family to give some of the porridge. So he gives off the porridge as well. And soon in this way, he'll be only left with water. And then just about, as he was about to give his family serve the water, just simple water, there is a Chandala who is a lowly person who survives on flesh and meat and whatnot, anything at all. He comes and says, I am so very parched. I don't even have water to drink. Please offer me some water if you can and quench my thirst. Even though Rantideva and his family were also parched and thirsty, he offers that same water to Narayana and says, O Bhagavan, thank you for giving me this opportunity, this misery, to understand the misery of my fellow human beings. I humbly offer this simple water to this Chandala. Please help him quench his thirst. And the Chandala drinks the water that is offered to him, and he leaves. Soon after, who emerges? Narayana himself. And then he blesses Rantideva and says, I am truly pleased with your bhakti, with which you offer humble water, right? Everyday water. We waste so much of it here, right? Remember to accept everything, including water, with bhakti. And he is truly pleased with Rantideva's bhakti and blesses his kingdom again. And his kingdom flourishes right back again. So also, next slide, please. I'm sure you know, some of you know the story of Gajendra. What does he offer? He offers a flower. Every day he picks up a lotus from the pond and he offers it with utmost devotion to Narayana. One day, just as every day, he goes to the pond and he wanted to pick the best lotus in the deep inside the pond for Narayana. And what happens in that time? An alligator, a crocodile, a Nakraha, grabs hold of the Gajendra's foot and refuses to let go. What does he do? He calls out to Narayana, Oh Narayana, all I have to offer is this flower. Please save me from this crocodile. What does Narayana do? He forgets everything else. He forgets his clothes, everything. He just brings his Sudarshana Chakra and rushes with Garuda to the scene. What does he do? He uses his Sudarshana Chakra and slays the crocodile and rescues Gajendra. Remember, all he offered was a flower with utmost devotion. Next slide, please. Yeah, I'm sure you know this. What did Rama do during his stay in the forest? This is Shabari. What does he accept from Shabari? A humble fruit. What can you offer in the forest? A very, very humble fruit. And what does Shabari do? Old and humble and feeble Shabari. She picks each fruit, tastes and see whether it is ripe, and only then she offers the fruit to Rama. What does Rama do? Does he pick on, oh, you didn't give me the best ones? No. He only looks at Shabari's bhakti. Whatever she offers in bhakti, with utmost bhakti, it is bhakti that he humbly bows before and accepts. The devotion with which the devotee offers that bhakti trumps everything else. Remember, even the all-powerful God himself bows before bhakti and the bhakta. So remember, it's not just dharma or karma. Those are important, but what is of utmost importance is bhakti. Shall we? Whatever you do, whatever actions you do, whatever offerings you give, even shlokas, mantras, or a simple prayer, even chanting the Lord's name, Narayana, Jai Shriman Narayana, you do it with utmost bhakti, and Bhagavan will receive it in that same manner. He will reveal himself to you with that same bhakti. He responds only to bhakti. All right? Will you remember that? Okay. Over to you, Manuji.
Thank you, Vasuji. It was once again incredible. Okay, welcome back once again. So, another game. Are you all excited and ready? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, let's do it. What is Sanatana means?
Internal.
Is it eternal, old, or real?
Eternal.
Internal.
Eternal.
Internal.
Answer. Oh yeah, you guys are right. I'm very happy that you guys remember it. Very well. Next slide, please. Okay. How many Vedas do we have? 1, 3, 4, 6.
4.
Four.
Oh my God, you guys are really amazing. 4, yes. Next. Okay. Name of the festival where we worship the snake and offer the milk? Is it Sankranti? Is it Nagapanchami or is it Ugadi?
Nagapanchami.
Nagapanchami.
God, you guys are amazing. That's right. All right. Let's see the next festival. Festival of Spring. Very recently. I know due to COVID we couldn't celebrate it though. Spring, which comes in the season of spring. Chaturthi. Holi. Deepavali.
Chaturthi.
And now, festival of spring is Holi. Chaturthi was? There is Holi. Good job, guys. Good job. Keep it up. Next. Which animal is worshipped as God in Hindu rituals? We do.
Elephant.
Cow.
Elephant.
Cow.
Tiger, cow.
Cow. Elephant.
The cow.
Right answer is cow. Yes. Go Mata. Go Puja. We do it right?
Yep.
Next. Vehicle of Lord Shiva is
Nandi.
Garuda, Nandi, or elephant? White elephant.
Nandi.
Which one? Answer?
Nandi.
Nandi. Very good. Yes, that's right. Okay. We had a session as well on this topic about the temples. We have been repeating this many times. Anyone remember the name of the temple?
Brideshwar Temple in Tanjavur.
Deshwa.
Very good, guys. Very good. Okay, I will tell you a very quick story on this. Okay, a very quick, tiny story. Please, again, as Vasuji was explaining about the bhakti, right? the king who built this temple was Rajaraja Chola I. Okay, he himself, he as a, yes, so he considered himself as a very big devotee of Shiva. So he built the temple, and then the excavation was done, and the first day when the after puja and everything, they had to ring the bell. Everyone is trying, they are not able to ring the bell, it's not making the sound. So and you know, the divinity sound through one of the person who was standing there in the premises of the temple, saying, okay, you can this bell can be rung only by a person who I consider as a big devotee. Okay, so that only that person can ring the bell. Now, since the king considered himself as a very big devotee of Shiva, he comes and rings the bell. Nothing happens. Then comes the archaka or the purohita or the priest, what we call him. He comes, nothing happens. Then the ministers come, the king's family comes. Almost everyone tries in the temple premises, but nothing happens. Now, from morning to, it's afternoon, they had to continue with all the rituals in the temple, but without bell, nothing can be done. You cannot proceed with the puja. So what they do, they are waiting, they are trying each and everyone. At that time, there is an old woman who walks into the temple who is completely unaware of what is happening around. Because she devotes her, she does a puja and then she just ring the bell. Guess what happens? The bell rang. Everyone was in a pin drop of silence. And the first thing what the king did is, king along with his all the ministers and his family, they go and bow in front of that old woman. They ask them, none of us were able to do it. How did you do it? What have you done? What kind of contribution you have done towards the construction of this temple that only you could ring the bell? She said, I am not aware, my lord. My dear king, I am a very simple poor woman. She left. No, the king cannot leave this topic. What he did is he tried to find all the information. What did she do? What did she do? I spent all the money. I did all the work, everything, but I couldn't do what that poor woman could do. There must be something. When they tried lot of things, when they got, okay, they get to know one thing. When the temple was, as you can see, the temple is so big, right? And earlier days, there were no modes of transportation other than the bullock carts, right? So those people used to carry these big stones, right? On the marble stones on the bullock carts. So while taking the bullock carts to the temple, these stones, the person who is doing driving this and ox as well, they will be very tired, thirsty. So her job was to every day, she didn't even know it. She felt like she is doing her part. Every day she will get up, she will fill a tank of water in between the, it's on the way to the temple, she will fill it. And while passing through that, her home, all these bullock cart people, they will just sit there, take a nap, or maybe, the bulls, they will drink the water, they will quench their thirst and everything, and then they just keep on going. The rest of the work they will be doing. So this is her, a very indirect yet again a very powerful contribution towards the build of the temple without anything in return. She was expecting, and she was, yes. So this is all about bhakti. Okay. Next. That is sleeping on the bed made of coil of 1,000 hooded serpents. May I know who is this Trinity?
Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu.
Shri Vishnu.
That is
Lord
Lord
Vishnu.
Okay, what part of this temple? We have gone through this very recently. What is
The
it?
copper pole.
We call it something. There is a particular name for that. Anyone? Okay, never mind. Let's see what is that? Dhwajastamba. Yeah, flagpole. What do you call? Okay, how many ashramas we have? Recently we have learned this. Ashramas. Vasuji had covered in ashramas. Anyone?
5.
No, it
We have
is
4.
4. Right. It is 4.
Oh.
Yeah. Just, brush up yourself on this topic. Okay. Next. Mount Meru is home of which trinity? Which trinity? Mount Meru.
Brahma.
Try harder.
Mount Kailash is Ganesh.
Mount Kailasha is Ganesh. Okay, let's see the answers. Mount Meru is of Lord Vishnu, where Vaikunta, city of Vaikunta, and then Mount Kailasha is
Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva.
yeah. Okay.
Heat us today. Heat one.
Identify the symbols.
Is that
First,
last?
Om.
let's see.
Om.
The Om symbol.
Good.
Om.
Symbol. Next.
Kapur symbol.
Third
They're
one.
doing the
Very good.
Karpurvaram.
Yes.
Shulam.
Trishul.
Yes. Trident or Trishul. Very good. Keep it up.
Bow and arrow.
Spoke about
The
this.
Vishnu avatars.
Yes. What is it called?
Vishnu avatar.
Very good. Very good.
Good job.
Very happy. Next.
Swastik. Swastika. Ganesh.
Really good, guys. I'm so proud of you all. Very good. Okay. So, I think Sarveshi will speak, or should we?
So Sarvesh was going to conclude.
Yeah.
We'll
So
do this after your.
Thank you, Manuji. We'll do this in the end. So
Yeah.
thank you, Manuji. So children, once again, those of you whose parents are not with you, please call your parents, because we have a very special opportunity today. Can you hear me, Rashmiji?
Yes.
Okay. So please, children, I was asking those of you whose parents are not with you, please ask them to join you for next 10-15 minutes, because we have a couple of things to do. One, we have a very special guest with us today, Shri Rajiv Verma ji. So he will address us. It will be especially for your parents, so call them. And two, we have certificates for you. So we will call out each of your names and your friends' names, and you can clap for them and clap for yourself. So call your parents. With that, it is my very pleasurable duty to introduce our guest today, Shri Rajiv Verma ji. Rajiv ji lives in Houston, Texas. He is a leader of Hindu American community. He has been involved since 1980s in so many Hindu movements in India and then also in America. Almost all the notable organizations, big organizations that participate and lead in the Hindu activities, he has been very active participant of most of those organizations. He has given me benefit over the last, I would say, almost a decade, maybe just over a decade, he has been a guide and mentor to me, I would say, in so many things, in so many activities. Rajiv ji has been part of Samskara Foundation right from the beginning of the ideation of this concept for more than a year, almost 2 years now. And we are very honored to have you, Rajiv ji. Welcome to the program to grace the concluding session today. So welcome. And what I would do, Rajiv ji, is let us do the certification to the kids first. So
yes,
let me quickly do that, and then Rajiv ji, we would like to hear from you.
Should I stop the screen share, Sarvesh?
Yes,
Okay.
Rashmi ji, please. You can see my screen?
Yes.
So I will, 1 second, let me stop this. You can still all see my screen, right?
Yes.
So what I would request everyone is unmute yourself, and why don't you clap. Even clapping is a very ancient Indian tradition. You know that, right? There was a rishi who used to clap. So I think clapping is a very sacred sound. Unmute yourself. I will read out the names of all of you and clap for yourself and your friends. Okay, so here we go. Akshaya Datta Koluru, Neena Krishna Goteti, Raksha Iyer, Adhav Suresh, Naisha Chaurasia, Shrikari Datta, Katta, Sahasi Udupa, Dhwani Zaveri, Thrumil Zaveri, Kaveri Bavale, Charvi Namburi, Shrihas Sabela, Aryan Chopra, Shyam Shroff, Surya Kailasham,
Yay!
Shreyas Rajesh Handral, Ekansh Agarwal, Shashwat Zarekar, I think Shashwat is the last name. So very well done, all of you. It was, I hope, as much fun for you as it was for me and the team. Congratulations. I hope you will continue to grow on the concepts that you have learned. So with that, what I'm going to do, Rajiv ji, me got the slides. And Rajiv ji, you can see the slides?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes, Rajiv.
Yes.
Wonderful. So thank you, Sarvesh ji, for inviting me, and truly appreciate this opportunity that you have given me. So I know in my introduction, Sarvesh ji said a lot of good things, but in return, I can say twice as many good things about him. So you can imagine Sarvesh ji's qualities and his talents and skills. And I truly admire him for his research and the work he's doing. We are all doing. So Samskara Foundation, the word Samskar, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we can,
Okay.
Rajiv.
So the word Samskar itself is very, very important because who we are. Let's say your next door neighbor, and I'm trying to fine tune my little talk here to the audience here. I see I'm very inspired by seeing all these young people. I wish I could have attended this class in full and relived my younger days, but there are so many things to do, right? So I'm truly inspired today by the audience and the contents of this, and what Sarvesh ji and team and all of you, Rashmi ji, Vasu ji, I just heard them, have done this. But the question is why? And I want especially both the kids and the parents and public in large, in large, to kind of think deeply about this subject, because some of it which I'm about to say, I come from a very different background, maybe from most of you. I've been an activist, and the need for this, what this program is, I can derive from a different angle. It's not as if there is any shortage of educational programs. There are all kinds of, temples have them, different academies have it. You have your school system. But what we are doing here is very, very unique. And I'll tell you, I'll keep it short also. So let us say your next door neighbor, or somebody out there on the street or in your neighborhood or in your city or wherever you are in the US. They have a certain system, right? They have their local church, their pastor, they have one single book, Bible, So they have a certain mechanism to make decisions, life decisions, and I'll go over one or two, and you will understand what I'm talking about. As Hindus, what do we have? We have a different system altogether called Sanatana Dharma. I just heard the definition and mention of it. So we are existing in this in the larger context of US, and we have a unique position here because of who we are. So you must have heard this term called melting pot, right? It's a very attractive term. Hey, America is melting pot. So I asked myself a question. If I'm going to be asked to be melted into a pot, shouldn't I be asking what kind of melt I'm going to become? It's very natural, right? Somebody is asking me to melt myself into a pot. Melting pot, America. So I need to ask this question, and I need you all to ask yourself this question. I'm not going to be able to answer it for you. What are you being asked to melt into? And that's the answer to that question, that whatever you come up with, even you're 6-year-olds and you will come up with that answer. And if you're grown up, you will come up with your own answer. I'm not going to answer this for you, but I must ask this question because I'm being asked to melt into some melting pot. And the samskaras, so what is the decision-making process for a Hindu that is available? Remember your neighbor, and nothing wrong with that. But that's the system your neighbor has, or your friends in school have, and your co-workers have, because they will have some pastor, they will have a church, they will, they have some bishop or pope or somebody who is telling them or who is interpreting them, or there is a messenger of God, which is Jesus, who has given, whose stories are in the Bible, and they read the Bible and they give, tell them, and they have a well-established system. But we also have a system, right? So what is that driving force that will tell us, right from wrong, good or bad? Those are our samskaras. The samskaras will drive. So for instance, let us say these are difficult questions that come up in life, right? You are getting ready to do a very, very important work. Let us say you are going to a temple for a puja, and the puja has to start at the right time. And then you come up with a situation, you are crossing the street and you see, some handicapped who is legally blind, who needs help in crossing the street. You know that if you help that person, you're going to be late for something very important. What is your duty at that time? And again, I'm not going to answer it for you. You already know it. So what makes us drive that decision? That's what samskara comes into the picture. That's what our samskara will drive us to the right decision, whatever that may be. And it may be different for different people. It's not. So that decision was Arjuna had to make that decision, right, in Mahabharata. And then who advised? Krishna. Krishna is the guru. So in your own life, your first gurus are your parents. I'm talking to kids. But of course, the parents also, you have your parents as gurus. So that's your first guru. Then you have your other gurus who will train you to. But then guru cannot make a decision for you because you have to make your own decisions. And I'm not talking something very high up or very complex. These decisions have to be made in life. Maybe you're a doctor, or you become an engineer or a lawyer, and there are questions of ethics come, and your decision making is not same as your neighbor or your co-worker, because they have an established system, and then you have another. One of the things in life in America, where most of us will make that decision, let us say, I'm just giving an example, is to take care of your aged parents. Now there is a system in America where people put their parents in maybe old age homes. And this topic may be complex for kids to understand, but I have to make a point. Now, you have two options. You can keep your parents at home with you and serve them. And that has been the Indian tradition all along. Or you can, or a lot of people do that, and they put them in their old age homes, pay for it or whatever. But it's your sanskara that is going to decide whether you are going to keep your parents at home or you're going to keep them in an old age home. And where you are going to get these samskaras? Throughout this, including this, what we are doing today. And it's a building up process. So the two important things, that our own existence as who we are in the US, and the decision-making process. And programs like this will go a long way in helping everybody, all of you, whether you are a high schooler or a middle schooler, in your exams, or if you want to become a doctor, engineer, lawyer, and if you are working in your professional life, all the way you heard 4 ashramas, right? So all the way to retirement, you have to do this decision making in mainstream America. And the thing that you need is this kind of training, among other things, not just this, but other things. And that's why we need education. Now, let's say Sarvesh has created this wonderful program, and I'm with him, I'm helping him, and we need to look at the usefulness of this and expand. And this doesn't require, it requires some funding or some resources, but what it requires is just word of mouth. Like you talk to your friends in other cities, parents will talk to other parents. So by word of mouth, we can grow this and we can improvise it. You tell us where we went wrong, maybe. And I hope we can, Sarvesh, we can maybe organize a meeting just with parents and with the teachers, and we can go over these factors. But to cap it, this is very, very important, because this kind of education you're not going to get in your schools and not outside. So we must do these programs so that we can exist as who we are in the US. Thank you, Sarvesh, and thank you others for listening.
Thank you, Rajiv ji. So I will just carry that thought forward, that faced with this problem of we Hindus having made a home in the West, in America, and struggling to keep up the transfer of the same values which we inherited from our parents and grandparents to our own children, in midst of the environment which Rajiv ji touched upon. The school not only will not give those values, in fact, it will instill quite a contrary values many times. And there are so many other variants that we all know about. We came up with this thought of how do we fight back? How do we resist that kind of an influence? And on a positive side, how do we ensure really instilling the same values that we carry to our children? And answer was that let's do a middle path. And the middle path will be identify what are the things which the traditional knowledge system of Hindus or India have that are left behind or left uh, untaught by the modern education that our children are in, identify that, and create a curriculum of all of those items. Two, we came up with the concept of holiday Gurukula. So of course, during the year, there are at least 100 to 150 days of holidays, not counting some holidays in there, but just the summer, winter, and spring major vacations. So about 100 days is the holidays. So we thought that we can have a concept of establishing a proper Gurukula. Children can go live during the holidays in an environment which is totally traditional, from speech, from even basic things like the attire and the routine and day-to-day activities, and learn some of these concepts, not just intellectually, but also by doing it, by living through that traditional lifestyle. And lastly, technology has enabled us, and in a somewhat ironical way, this COVID has enforced us to look at remote learning. So all the kids in the last several months have been bound in home and utilizing technology to learn the curriculum remotely. So why not these concepts also be taught through remote learning? So together with those three essential premises, we came up with the solution. So we identified 8 limbs or 8 main categories of curriculum which we should pass on to our kids. So Sanskara, Swadhyaya. Sanskara we all know, Rajiv ji already talked about the value system. Swadhyaya is giving them a deeper introduction to our texts. So of course, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Pauranika stories our children generally are aware of, but you cannot say that all the children in living in the West are really totally familiar with these texts. So Swadhyaya is giving them a deeper introduction to the texts and methodology and tool and approach, training them on how to approach our texts. That's all Swadhyaya. Bhasha. So it's unfortunate that most of the immigrant children, it's a research says, they totally let go of their ancestral language in about 3 generations. The first generation will still have it, second generation will have less than a quarter of what their parents would have, third generation will totally give it up. So that's a research that melting pot that Rajiv ji mentioned has a very essential part of. Giving our children right taste for an introduction to our languages, that's Bhasha. Viveka is the right way of thinking and approaching the intellectual concepts that our children are fed. So Viveka and Nyaya, that's very essential element of that. Sahitya includes the texts beyond the essential dharma texts, but also broader literature from India. Niti, giving them an understanding of what all is going on in this world, what are they faced with. So there are so many political, geopolitical, economical, social constructs which are kind of implicitly fed to the children in schools, giving them and proper appreciation, understanding, and critical management of the concepts. That's Niti. Ka. So all the cultural artifacts, practices related to art, related to several other kalas, that is all part of kala. And lastly, and very importantly, itihasa. It is the itihasa which encourages a pride and instills kind of an ownership and sense of belonging to the heritage that they come from. So giving them a proper appreciation of Hindu itihasa, Indian itihasa, that's the 8th one. So we came up after much deliberation and much consultation with experts, a curriculum which covers these 8 areas. So I already mentioned we created a Gurukula. This is in India, in state of Uttar Pradesh. about 40 kilometers from Ayodhya. And for the last 2 years, we are conducting programs there. And we have faculty of learned Vedika scholars. And idea is, it's not a traditional Gurukula where the child has to leave their modern schooling. They don't have to. This is a holiday Gurukula where they go for during the summer and winter vacations. They spend 8 or 9 days at stretch, living in the environment as in authentic traditional Gurukula would. And that's a course for 3 years. So they go every summer and winter, live there. And then rest of the year, there is a remote learning which reinforces and takes forward the concepts they have learned. And that includes proper Vedika education, the essentials of it. So anyways, coming back, the last was the remote learning. So I already mentioned the residential holiday Gurukula, which right now we have that concept in India. And we shall see if the things pan out as we are planning for, then we would like to have one such Gurukula in US also. And maybe we shall have some adjustments to the model, but idea is that. Then for the elementary age group, we are planning for and are designing the programs which can run throughout the year, especially for this age group, 7 years, 8, 9 years children in the schools. So rooted in Dharma, 5-week program that you just finished today. And similarly, we have Swadhyaya through tales. So right since the very ancient times in the Hindu history, we see that children were taught through tales. Very important lessons are given, such as in Panchatra and Hitopadesha, only directly through the stories. So courses for learning Mahabharata, Ramayana somewhat more seriously, but through tales, entertaining and attractive for children, those two programs for Ramayana and Mahabharata. Similarly, history can be taught in a very entertaining way through picking up the kind of prakasha or the important personalities in history. And for that, we are designing 3 streams. One is heroes and heroines of Hindu history. And by going through their life and their work, of course, implicitly the values that they carried, and history of the events and thought processes behind those heroes and heroines, that will be one program. Second, similarly, will be for devotees, bhaktas, sages, and saints. So that's the second. Again, through their life, we learn about the times they lived in, surroundings and background history. So it's an implicit way of introducing history to young age children. And similarly, pioneers and visionaries. So not just the hero, heroines, sages, and saints, but also scientific and philosophical pioneers of our history. Lastly, the language for the elementary children. So there are multiple organizations doing education programs in America. So Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, a lot of courses are available. But parents have still shown, so within the survey that you all have filled out, you have shown a very strong inclination to give some emphasis on the language. So we are thinking of, still deliberating, we haven't decided, but we are thinking of introducing some programs for elementary Hindi and Sanskritam, which can be conducted keeping in mind that within 3 months the children should know enough to be able to read Devanagari, write Devanagari script, have a basic conversation, etc. So that's about elementary. But after that, after these courses which can run the year, we also are planning for holiday camps. So just like the Gurukula, which was a residential program, holiday camps are conducted just during the summer, winter, spring holidays, etc., for a period of whatever the duration of the vacation is. But these are not residential, and the the program will be designed for now, keeping in mind COVID situation, remote. But in future, in select cities of US, hopefully we can scale and conduct that in person. Okay, so that's the elementary ones. Then when the children get to the middle and high school, we have some serious programs. So right now there is a program being conducted for both high schoolers and middle schoolers for Indian history. So that program will be into 3 parts: ancient, medieval, modern, which takes up about 3 or 4 months and administered over more flexible, modular way. But that gives them a serious appreciation and equips them with information to learn and even be able to counter some of the falsehoods that they are given about Hindus, about India, etc. So the history programs and the very important program for Nyaya or the Viveka for teenagers, middle and high schoolers, to learn about our approach or traditional way of critical thinking and reasoning. So that's a program that is under design. We will roll it out soon. And then the language program, which I mentioned, a more advanced version, and then an even more advanced version for especially Hindi. So that's all still under the thought process, not designed the language. And then high schoolers, in addition to the language and history, have opportunity of doing the internship in which they will be exposed to much more serious, critical, and more concepts and hands-on work. Especially they will participate, these high schoolers will participate in assisting with the rest of the programs as well, and thereby getting experience. Around the year, last program or category of programs is having informal workshops, book clubs, and special projects. So especially book club, especially the middle schoolers, can pick up at least 1 book a month. In the school, they are exposed to a lot of literature. But from Indian perspective, if they can pick up 1 important book a month and read it as a group, discuss it, criticize it, understand the surroundings of the book as a more structured activity, that kind of gives them not only information but also community. They know that they have Hindu children across US and they are not alone, they are not tiny minorities. They would have more confidence internally. So those are from parents. Any questions? Yes. Any questions? Rashmi ji, Vasu ji, am I audible?
Yeah, your voice just broke for some time, but you're back now. You're back online.
Okay, I was saying, are there any questions so far before I touch upon the last point about how parents can stay informed about the programs, about what we are planning to do, how we are doing it? Any questions? No? Okay, fair enough. So 2 things then. How do you stay informed about these programs? So we have our Facebook page, which we will publish all the new program announcements, enrollment announcements too. So please take a note of that Facebook page, do like it. Of course, we have our website, which is currently being built. It is not completely built out. If you go there, you would see Hello World. And if any of you want to help us out, volunteer, be or web master, please do let us know. We will be very good. So that's the website, email, and the WhatsApp. So of course, all of you are in this WhatsApp group. This WhatsApp group after the program will be repurposed. It will be repurposed for announcements. Okay, so that's how you stay in touch. And lastly, all of this effort, of course, requires some funding, which will go towards designing more programs. Right now, the effort is by these three wonderful Manuji, Rashmiji, Vasuji, these three great teachers, myself, and we are creating all of it out of a labor of love. But to really scale it, to make it so effective and professional, we require a larger team. We require creating the assisting material such as e-learning modules and books which we can give, which will assist in conducting these programs more effectively. It will also require a little bit of other expansion related funding. All of this, of course, we don't charge any fees for these programs. Everything is going to be charge any fees, because of course Vidya is priceless. You cannot put a price to it, society and especially parents. So do please consider donating to Sanskara, which will be a great contribution, I would think, to the society. So that's the link how you can donate to us. And lastly, please do join the team, take up some roles that suit your interest, suit your skills. You can become teachers, you can help us out, as I said, in the website. You can do marketing. You can even be on the advisory of Sanskara Foundation to design the programs and curriculum. You may not have all the time to actually conduct the programs, but you can help with the content, with the design of the lessons, etc. So that's all from me. Any questions overall?
If I may just butt in there.
Okay, thank you. So children or parents, you want to say something? Any of you?
Yeah, just one question. How soon approximately these programs are going to be conducted? Just so we just keep a tab on social media to get informed of the programs.
So the programs, some of these are already happening. So for example, the history program for middle and high schoolers is already happening. So likewise, Gurukula program is also already happening remotely. So it's an ongoing thing. Some additional programs that I informed about, such as the Nyaya for teenagers and Mahabharata Swadhyay programs, hopefully we should be able to start those in a few weeks' time. Okay, so next month or so, you would have those programs in place. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other?
Yes,
it need not be
I
a question. Do you want to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a comment, Sarveshi. This is Aparna. I'm Kaveri's mom. I want to say thank you to you and to Rashmiji, Vasuji, Manuji, and all volunteers. This has been a very engaging program. Kaveri loved it. You touched upon so many concepts. I think it's nice for the children to have the grounding again and again. So thank you for putting in all the good work. It was really interesting, educational, and engaging. Very important to have kids engaged, especially in these times where they're staying at home. I am hoping that you will have additional programs and also opportunities for volunteers. I want to say thank you and namaskar.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
So, Sarveshji, this is Sanjay's dad, Prakash. So echo the words. I think it's been a great program. So the kids have really learned a lot about our culture. I think this is an effort of all the volunteers. Appreciate that. Looking forward to more programs that the kids can learn.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I would like to say, really, first of all, thanks to Paramatman for giving us this opportunity, bringing all of us together to do this, I would say, yajna. It is nothing if it is not a yajna for giving the values to our children, the Vedika, the Dharmika values. It is nothing less than a yajna. So thanks are to Paramatman. Thanks are to the gurus, which is Rashmiji, Vasuji, and Manuji. I would really like to thank three of them. It is 100% their effort. It is their initiative. It is their ideas and their hard work and toil. In despite so many other commitments, you should know they are all educators and they have their own responsibilities. So they still took out the time, spent so much time during the week. Do you know how much time it goes to put together all these concepts, put together the slides, put together the Kahoot games? These are not easy. And really, my thanks to all three of them. I'm very grateful to all three of you, Manuji, Vasuji, and Rashmiji, for teaching our children. And do you want to say something, Rashmiji, Manuji, Vasuji?
We are glad to be part of this program, Sarveshi. We are thankful to you and Samskara Foundation. Somehow we got to know, we came across this program once our kids became part of this. Eventually we became part. So we are more thankful. You don't need to, it was a privilege to, do our part.
I second Manuji's totally whatever she's saying. I think that we have learned a lot in the process too. And these kids have inspired us actually to keep going. If it wasn't the participation of the children, I don't think we would have achieved what we feel that we have achieved now. So they have kept us going and wanting to kind of do more and more. So, and ever thankful to you, Sarveshji. I mean, the Sarveshji, you mentioned about the middle schooler program, and my son attends that, and I can tell everybody, all the parents here, that is a fantastic program. And he has learned so much in these 2 months, and it's been very enriching. So we got to know Sanskara because of that program. I'm so grateful, Sarveshji, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rashmiji, Manuji. Vasuji, do you want to say something?
Yes, definitely. Thank you to Sarveshi and Samskara Foundation, Rajiv ji. And most importantly, to the parents. It is your effort to have them come back. We can do a lot, but it is the practice, their rootedness that really inspires us. We ourselves find more encouragement that we are not alone in this yajna. And that is what has motivated us throughout this entire month and beyond. And we hope that this samskara will continue with our kids and that we will be working together with all of you, probably in a much grander scale, ongoing yajna. So please join us. And if you have any comments, feedback, something that we can work on and get better ourselves, please do drop in a message either on any of the platforms you just saw. Otherwise, an email also will do at any point, because that's what really motivates us to address what the current needs of both the parents and the children are. So, and again, I humbly offer my thanks to all of you, parents, Sarveshji, Rajivji, Samskara Foundation, my fellow teachers, Rashmiji and Manuji, and especially I'm truly humbled by the kids' dedication to learn, and that's what really keeps me also from keeps me motivating to continue to learn throughout. I thank you all. Namaste.
Thank you, Vasuji. I think very touching words. And I completely agree. I think through these kids, we are getting so much energy, motivation to do more and more. Absolutely. And I also want to thank the interns, the wonderful high schoolers who helped the teachers and me in being able to conduct this program. So I think these children have enjoyed working with the intern teachers as well. So I want to, they are not right now here in this session, but I want to take their names and thank them. Harini, Maina, Sai Aditya, Shreya, Shriya, Shwetam, and Saujanya. These wonderful high school interns from 11th grade, they have been really phenomenal, and all the best to them. And lastly, parents and children, just like Vasuji said, we are very grateful who have given us the opportunity of spending time with you and learning through you. So thank you very much. Forum is open. We are of course much over time, but before we do the Shanti Mantra, anybody else wants to say something? Forum is open.
Yeah, hi, this is Pavan. I'm father of Krishna and Rishika Guteti. Rishika and Krishna are both attending the Samskara programs, and we're very thankful for you, for all of you. I'd like to volunteer my daughter. She wants to volunteer for the website design and so on. Rishika wants to do it, Rishika Guteti. Maybe I can help with any other things needed as well. So please count us in. And we deeply appreciate all your hard work. And yeah, I know it takes a lot of time and effort. So I'm very thankful for it. These are all something we want to teach kids. We can do one-on-one, but we can only do so much. When the kids learn together with the fellow kids, they learn more. They get the importance of it. So I'm very thankful. Thank you.
No, thank you, Krishna ji. And I think you, as you said, they don't. They not only learn more, they get a confidence that, hey, just like me, there are so many other kids of the similar thought process, similar values. Absolutely. They develop a network, they develop a community, they maybe build some friendships which later help them in life.
Absolutely, yes, I agree.
Yeah, thank you, Krishna ji. Rajiv ji, any final words before we end, before we do the Shanti Mantra?
No, this is coming off really, really well. I'm truly inspired by what is happening here and your other classes as well. But this is very, very coming along very, very well. Let's just keep it up.
Thank you, Rajiv ji.
Thank you.
So, Vasuji, do you want to lead us into Shanti Mantra?
Sure, of course. Kids and parents, please join your hands in Anjali Mudra. Close your eyes. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Sarve Santu Niramayah.
Sarve Santu Niramayah.
Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu.
Sarve
Bhadrani Pashyantu.
Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet.
Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Gurubhyo Namaha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah. Namaste.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavadah.
Bye.
Dhanyavadah. Dhanyavadah. Namaste.
Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Namaste.
Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Namaste.